So, what really keeps world leaders and global experts up at night? Well, every year, the World Economic Forum tries to answer that exact question. And let me tell you, their latest global risks report for 2025 paints a pretty serious picture. We're going to break down what this crucial report is all about, not as some doomsday list, but as a map for understanding the huge forces that are shaping our world right now. An increasingly fractured global landscape. Wow. The report really doesn't pull any punches, does it? That one phrase pretty much sets the stage for everything else. It paints this picture of a world that's, well, breaking apart, struggling with these massive threats that no single country can possibly handle on its own. Now, you might be wondering, who's actually saying all this? Well, this isn't just a handful of people guessing. The whole report is built on the insights of over 900 experts from all over the world. We're talking scientists, CEOs, policymakers, the people right there on the front lines. And their collective wisdom is exactly what makes this report so important to pay attention to. Okay, so to really make sense of it all, we can't just look at what's happening today. We have to understand how these risks are shifting and changing over time. And luckily, the report gives us a fantastic way to do that. And that's exactly how we're going to walk through these challenges together. And this is where the report gets really, really smart. It breaks everything down into 3 different time frames. You've got the short-term threats, the fires we're trying to put out right now. Then there are the medium-term ones, the storms gathering just over the horizon. And finally, the big long-term risks that could change everything over the next decade. For this explainer, we're going to focus on the short-term and the long-term to really get a handle on the most urgent threats. All right, so let's get right into it. What are the immediate dangers? What are the crises demanding our attention right now? Let's take a look at those short-term threats. Honestly, if you've spent even 5 minutes looking at the news lately, none of this is going to be a huge shock. We're talking about escalating conflicts around the world. Those persistent environmental problems like extreme weather, and, of course, the insane speed at which disinformation can spread, especially with new AI tools. These are the crises that are shaping our daily lives and forcing leaders to act, like yesterday. But here's where things get really interesting and, frankly, a little scary. So while today's headlines are absolutely dominated by conflict and disinformation, the experts are pointing to something much, much bigger looming in the future. When you ask them to look 10 years down the road, the entire risk landscape completely transforms. So what are these long-term threats? What are the huge challenges that are set to define not just next year, but the entire next decade? And this right here is the absolute core warning of the report. Hands down, the next decade is going to be defined by environmental risks. We're talking about our planet's systems hitting critical tipping points, ecosystems collapsing, and shortages of the things we need to survive, like clean water. So yeah, the immediate crises are real, but the long-term, existential threat, it's environmental. But here's the thing you absolutely have to understand. None of these risks are happening in their own little bubbles. They're all connected. It's like this giant, complicated web, and when you pull on one thread, the whole thing can start to shake. No risk is an island. It's such a simple phrase, but it's so powerful, right? It means you can't try to solve, say, climate change without also thinking about how it's going to affect the economy or social stability or even global security. It's all connected. So let's just walk through how this can play out. Imagine a major conflict breaks out. Okay, what happens next? It almost always leads to economic chaos. And when countries are worried about their own economies, what's the first thing that gets pushed to the back burner? Long-term environmental goals. That inaction then makes climate change worse, which can cause more instability and even more conflict over resources. It's a really dangerous, vicious cycle. So where does all this leave us? I mean, it sounds pretty bleak, but this report isn't just a list of problems to scare us. It's really meant to be a call to action. It's about using this knowledge to actually prepare for what's coming. And this is the real takeaway. The whole point is that by understanding how all these risks are tangled together, we can start to build systems that are stronger, more resilient. It means we have to find new ways to work together, even when it's tough. It's about realizing that we're all in this together, and the only way out is through cooperation. So the report leaves us with this huge question. In a world that feels like it's fracturing, how do we actually build the bridges we need to get to a shared, safer future? Look, there are no easy answers here, but one thing is crystal clear. Maybe the greatest risk of all is just doing nothing. The challenges are immense for sure, but so is our capacity for innovation and cooperation. The future isn't written yet,